Hi, I'm Skinny Cheeks. This video will be covering the Week 5 PTS patch notes, which will be the final week of changes on the PTS before the Ascending Tide DLC goes live on March 14th for PC and March 29th for console. As usual with Week 5 on the PTS, there aren't a ton of changes, but I wanted to cover a few important ones here. And before we start, I did want to quickly say thank you to those that are subscribed to the channel. We are quickly approaching 40,000 subs now with 50K around the corner. I can't thank y'all enough for the support. I will be doing a 50,000 crowns giveaway in ESO as a thank you when we do finally hit that 50K sub mark. So if you aren't subbed and you want to help us get there quicker, that would be amazing. Subbing on YouTube is free and you can always change your mind later if you're no longer interested in the content. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing we'll cover here is Undaunted Reputation. In this patch, we have further adjusted Undaunted Reputation gains to support account-wide achievements. In addition to increasing the amount of Undaunted Reputation gains on most sources, we have also added new ways to gain even more Undaunted Rep. This was done in an effort to make sure you have more options and progression is not negatively impacted. So previously, dungeon achievements were the bulk of how you would gain Undaunted Rep, which is your Undaunted skill line experience. Now that achievements are going account-wide, this created an issue where leveling up your Undaunted skill line was going to take much longer than in previous updates. So good on ZOS, they have released this table here and updated the different sources of getting Undaunted to be much more rewarding. And for a reference, here is a table of how much Undaunted Rep is required to reach each Undaunted level. Thanks to UESP for this great info posted on their site. I always have them linked in the description of each of my videos as their site is a near daily visit for me. So I'll go through some notable changes here. Turning in the quests you get for the first time you do a dungeon will give 25 rep. Previously, this did not reward any. Normal pledges are going from 10 Undaunted Rep up to 25. Vet pledges are going from 20 to 50, and Vet Hard Mode pledges will reward 100 reputation now. Previously, these were just lumped in with regular Vet pledges. And then two new additions are Trial Quests rewarding 50 and 100 for normal or veteran respectively. So lots of options now to level up your Undaunted on new characters, and you can see it only takes a maximum of 200 Undaunted for each rank. So just a couple of Vet Trials or Vet Hard Mode dungeon pledges and you have a full rank unlocked. And then those dungeon quest turn-ins giving you 25 will cover a lot of what was taken away with the achievements no longer giving that Undaunted Rep. So overall, pretty great changes here. There was some talk going around about how maybe they wanted this grind to be really annoying to further incentivize people to just pay for the skill line on their alternate characters, but it does seem like more so that this was just an oversight with the new achievement system, and overall the progress should be similar if not easier now in some cases. They also did a lot more changes to the new dungeons, the same as last week. I won't be going through all of those as I haven't done both dungeons on the PTS and I won't really be able to talk about what those changes mean. And then the last big change we'll go through in the notes is One Hand and Shield, the passive Deadly Bash. This passive now increases damage of your bash attacks by 500, down from 1500, but also reduces the cost of bash by 50%, up from 40%. So on the developer comment, it says, "We're easing back the ease of access power that bash builds have access to without making more operational costs to their builds by making choices with sets, enchantments, or champion points, while giving a little bit back for them so it doesn't feel like a complete loss. We'll still be keeping a close eye on bash builds moving forward where they can feel like a cool niche playstyle without making them feel better at bursting people than an assassin." So to clarify, this doesn't reduce the tooltip on the skill Power Slam, but the actual act of bashing itself will not be so heavily increased with a sword and shield equipped like it was before. I won't speak about this from a PvP perspective as I'm probably a bit out of the loop there, but I was messing around a bit on the PTS with sword and shield DPS on my Stamsork, and weaving in bashes between each skill was actually a fairly nice DPS increase because of this Deadly Bash passive and also the Champion Point passive Bashing Brutality. It is kind of interesting, the Champion Point passive does add to the tooltip of the Power Slam ability and it also adds to your actual bashes, while the Deadly Bash passive only increases your actual bashes. In this parse that's going on in the background, I ended up with over 4k DPS from weaving in bashes, so instead of light attack ability like normal, it was light attack ability ability bash, light attack ability bash, and so on, all still within that 1 second global cooldown period. This used to actually be a really popular method for DPS before bash damage was gutted many patches back, but with that sword and shield passive, it was pretty viable again if you were going that niche route of sword and shield DPS. Now it will add a little bit of damage if you want to mess with it, but I'm guessing it would probably be closer to that 2k DPS mark now instead of the 4k that I was getting here. So really up to you if that's something that you want to mess with, or if you want to just not worry about bash waving at all. So if you are going that sword and shield DPS route, you could still get well over 110k DPS with this setup. Maybe would have gotten even more here if I would have used Berserking Warrior instead of Kinrez, but I'll have all of the build info after the parse at the end of the video. So that's pretty much it for the patch notes, and looks like we know what we are going live with now. I'm going to be super busy getting my website ready for the new update, so my goal is to have all of the gear and the skill bar loadouts for each class done and live on the website by March 14th when the DLC goes live. And then I will be working through rotations and posting build videos here on YouTube as I get testing done for each class that I'm able to work on. And of course, those rotations will be added to the website as well as I work them out. But overall, DPS should be up a little this patch, aside from if you are using the Vampire's Frenzy toggle, which we covered getting nerfed a couple of weeks ago. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll keep the parse going in the background and let it finish up as I close this out. Big thanks to my current Patreon supporters and YouTube members. If you want to see how you can help support to keep these guides coming, it's totally optional, but there will be a link to join my Patreon in the description with options for as little as $3. Same with joining here on YouTube. And a special thanks to Nicholas, Simon, Cougar's Bay in the Cougar City Guild, the Order of War Guild, Iffy, Cantankerous Cat, Shady, Blakewin816, Mordecai1212, and my wonderful wife. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.